Alright guys, Bugoki here, welcome to today's video. We've got a number of thought-provoking discussions today in the video and lots to get through. If you're into gaming and you're interested in the latest PlayStation news, rumours and leaks, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the gaming community here on YouTube. And if you want to go the extra mile in supporting me as a content creator, consider becoming a channel member to unlock some exclusive perks. Right, so we're starting off with Project Latitude, which is the code name for the Xbox games that are coming over to the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. In the ongoing debate over whether Xbox will bring more of its games to competing platforms, recent insights from Microsoft's Satya Nadella suggest that the company's expansion strategy remains very much active. Despite rumors claiming that Microsoft's Project Latitude might be slowing down, Satya Nadella's comments suggest otherwise. In fact, his comments suggest a steady commitment to cross-platform accessibility. The recent rumors shared by a leaker known as Extra Swans suggested that Xbox's initiative to bring exclusive titles to Sony and Nintendo may have been put on pause following a lukewarm reaction to the announcement of the upcoming game Indiana Jones and the Great Circle coming to PS5 shortly after its Xbox release. And of course, that game will be PS5 Pro enhanced. According to the leaker, the mixed response supposedly led Xbox to scale back its push for cross-platform releases, though the plan was allegedly not cancelled. However, in a fiscal year report 2024, Satya Nadella clearly reaffirms Microsoft's direction. He highlighted Xbox's recent success in launching 4 popular titles on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation for the very first time, underscoring Microsoft's intention to broaden its reach and games to diverse devices and players. The leaked report also claimed that Xbox's core franchises like Gears of War and Halo would remain exclusive to Xbox consoles, marking them as red lines that are unlikely to appear on rival platforms. And whether these flagship games remain Xbox only or not is anyone's guess, as it was also previously stated very clearly that only 4 games from Xbox would come over to PlayStation and Nintendo, and soon after they made it clear that more were coming. Then Xbox clearly stated that Indiana Jones would not come to PlayStation, and shortly after they confirmed that it will be going to PlayStation. So whether the likes of Halo and Gears will come to PlayStation right now is anybody's guess. Satya Nadella's words suggest that Project Latitude is still moving forward. Microsoft has not indicated any official pause on the project, and the rumored slowdown seems more speculative than confirmed. Microsoft's approach to cross-platform games is not new, though it has historically focused on making games available on PC alongside Xbox consoles. The broader move towards Sony and Nintendo platforms represents an ambitious pivot aimed at making Microsoft titles more accessible, likely with the goal of appealing to a wider range of gaming audiences. This was also echoed by Tom Warren, who's a journalist and a regular Microsoft commentator who recently refuted claims of Project Latitude's pause on X, formerly Twitter. Responding to a user's assumption that Xbox had halted Project Latitude, Warren asked, "Who said they were pausing Project Latitude?" This open-ended question implies that there may be no reason to suspect Xbox has actually changed its approach. The next highly anticipated Xbox release set to reach PS5 is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which is expected to launch on Sony's platform in spring 2025. Microsoft appears curious about developer preferences, even asking developers on its own website to explain their platform choice when opting for the PS5 over Xbox. This feedback will likely help Xbox understand the cross-platform dynamics as it expands the ecosystem. While rumors circulate regarding a possible slowdown in Xbox's multi-platform plans, Nadella's statement paired with recent developments shows that Microsoft remains committed to bringing more games to a larger audience. If Project Latitude proceeds as implied, 2025 may bring more Microsoft titles to competing consoles. What are your thoughts on this, guys? I must be honest, to me, it's like they were testing the water by stating 4 games were coming to PlayStation, and then going out there and seeing what the reaction was like to those 4 games. And if they sell well, we will put more games onto PlayStation. And that's what they're seemingly going to do moving forward. At least Satya Nadella knows if he puts games onto PlayStation, gamers are likely to buy them, so a win-win for the shareholders of Microsoft. Anyway, let's move on and discuss one of the best looking boxing games to come to console in years. Undisputed, a boxing game from indie developer Steel City Interactive, this game has achieved an impressive milestone by selling over 1 million copies within a few weeks of its early access release. The game, originally known as Esports Boxing Club, has captured players' attention, rekindling excitement in a genre that hasn't seen a major release in over a decade. What makes Undisputed's success particularly inspiring is the story behind its creators, 3 brothers, Ash, Asif and Asad Habib. They all took on the challenge of developing a sports game despite having no prior experience in the gaming industry. Operating outside of the AAA studio scene, they started a vision for a realistic, engaging boxing game, bringing together years of their own interest in the sport and a clear drive to create something fresh. Their journey highlights the potential for small, passionate teams to make an impact across the gaming industry. Reflecting on the game's rapid success, Asad Habib shared with GameIndustry.biz that 1 million units sold exceeded SteelCity Interactive's initial sales projections. He noted that while he had high hopes for a good launch, surpassing 1 million copies sold so soon was both unexpected and thrilling. He goes on to say that it's my first game launch, and without benchmarks to guide me, hitting 1 million units feels surreal, especially for an indie title. He acknowledged that their pre-launch strategies, such as building a strong community during early access, they were instrumental in creating buzz around Undisputed. But even so, they outperformed their expectation and those of their publisher. Undisputed offers a depth of realism and variety in gameplay that has quickly resonated with fans of the sport. The game includes a diverse roster of over 70 licensed boxers, representing both male and female athletes, and over 60 types of punches to remaster. Players can challenge themselves in career mode, aiming to become the undisputed champion by battling through various leagues and opponents. The game has partnered with 3 of boxing's biggest organizations, as the WBC, the WBO and the IBF, to further enhance the authenticity of the experience. For an indie game to reach such heights, especially one created by newcomers to the game development scene, is a testament to SteelCity Interactive's innovative approach and the dedication of the 3 brothers. Their success with Undisputed underscores how a small but determined team can achieve remarkable things, particularly when they have a clear vision and a dedicated community. As they continue to develop and improve the game, Undisputed may well go down in history as a landmark title as far as boxing goes, proving once again that the indie studios have the power to disrupt the gaming industry and the usual big gaming corporation. This is the only good boxing game that I can certainly remember since way back in the early 2000s when the Fight Night series of games were around. They were brilliant back in the days, and I wish EA had continued with that franchise. It's great to see Undisputed doing well and an indie studio like SteelCity take the limelight for a change. Alright guys, if you're enjoying the content today, please give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in staying up to date with the latest gaming and PlayStation news, rumours and leaks. And if you want to go the extra mile and support me as a content creator, consider becoming a channel member and get access to member perks, including early access to all videos prior to their release. Alright guys, let's move on and let's talk about game reviews, because I think a lot of people are fed up with games being review bombed constantly. Just because a decision doesn't go somebody's way, the game gets bombed. It's not good. Let's talk about that. There's always a reservation when games are getting critical and user review scores by gaming sites, professional reviewers, selected influencers across social media, and also from gamers who will jump onto sites like Metacritic and openly review a game. Often you can see when a review doesn't quite sit right for various reasons, and I've often said in the past that the way games are reviewed at the moment I think are just flawed. Any gamer, anyone can literally go on and review a game. You can give it a score according to your own preferences and your own political stance, depending on what team you're batting for, without evidencing any actual time spent playing the game. No sharing of any user progress or time played during a game, no trophy or achievement milestones, and so on. Nothing is visible. It could be any Tom, Dick and Harry. You put your thoughts down and your review's there. It shouldn't be like that. I've always said that to review a game, you should have to have some metrics displayed next to your name or site that's reviewing the game. For example, if you were to review a game, there should be at least a minimum time played if you're able to leave a review, perhaps 5 hours, perhaps 7, perhaps 10, and a way for the site to connect to your platform to extract achievements, trophies, and stuff like that in your playtime. That information, apart from your personal details, are then displayed next to your review and how you scored the game, clearly showing how long you've played that game for and how much progress you've made during your playtime. This way, as you leave reviews, the audience can actually see that you've played for X amount of time, and within that time you have a number of achievements within your playtime, and you've given a user score of that game. At least this additional information lends more weight to your scoring and to your review of the game. And the more you review games, the higher your reviewer profile is, again lending more weight to your validity on the platform. So we get to see how much of the game has been played, progressed, what trophies and achievements have been collected before someone actually reviews the game. And don't even get me started on all the paid for review scores across social media. Those guys who review games on behalf of a company are just not allowed to say anything bad about the game, or they won't receive any perks and future copies of the game. So it's a flawed system. And the reason why I'm bringing this up now is because the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has implemented new guidelines aimed at curbing the manipulation of online reviews, a practice that has affected consumers across numerous industries. It's not just the gaming industry, and I'm picking gaming because it's what I'm passionate about, but it happens across various industries. This regulatory update has the potential to address review bombing, a practice commonly employed within the gaming industry, which allows groups of users to collectively leave negative feedback in protest of a game, update, or developer decision, regardless of the quality of the game. FTC Chair Lina Khan clarified that these new rules are primarily designed to eliminate fake online reviews and testimonials. It does this by enforcing 6 specific guidelines aimed at promoting transparency and truthfulness in reviews. While these guidelines will apply to various types of businesses, the first rule could have significant repercussions in the gaming industry. The rule prohibits fake or false consumer reviews, including those written by individuals who have not actually experienced the product or who misrepresent their experience. And across gaming, review bombing has become a frequent tool for players to voice their displeasure over changes or content perceived as unfair. However, under the FTC's new guidelines, if reviews are deemed to be insincere or part of a coordinated protest, as it was in the case with Helldivers 2, they may now fall under the category of false consumer reviews. The shift could fundamentally change the way players use reviews to influence games and companies. Other FTC rules target equally problematic practices. The second rule explicitly forbids the purchase of reviews, making it illegal for companies to incentivize consumers with financial compensation or other perks in exchange for positive or negative reviews. The policy could impact developers who previously promised additional game content or perks based on positive user feedback, a common strategy to encourage ratings. Another key rule cracks down on undisclosed relationships, requiring individuals affiliated with a product, whether employees or their family members, to disclose their association if they write a review. This rule could discourage employees or associated influencers from secretly promoting their products online, reinforcing a culture of honesty. It also extends to conglomerates with stakes in media and gaming, mandating transparency when publishing reviews for products in which they have a vested interest in. And additionally, the FTC's new guidelines addresses the suppression of reviews through intimidating or legal threats, a measure aimed at preventing companies from stifling honest feedback. And this one in particular, the gaming industry has seen its share of controversy over content creators, journalists, and users being discouraged from posting critical opinions. By protecting these voices, the FTC rules aim to ensure that honest reviews, positive or negative, are less vulnerable to suppression tactics. And lastly, the new guidelines include measures against fake social media engagement, which has become pervasive on platforms like Twitter. By banning the buying and selling of followers or engagement, the FTC hopes to reduce artificial popularity metrics through implementing this rule. While review bombing has been defended by some as a tool for consumer advocacy, it has equally been criticized as an unreliable metric, often fueled by fleeting anger rather than objective critique. With the FTC's new rules, the age of exaggerated online outrage may be drawing to a close, opening the door to more genuine user feedback. The intention is clear, and that's to foster a review ecosystem where feedback reflects true user experience, enabling future consumers to make informed decisions based on credible opinions. So let me know what you make of these changes by the FTC. Do you think it will make a difference on how games are reviewed? Do you think it will stop review bombing? Let me know down below, and let's move on. The release of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on Microsoft's Game Pass subscription service is projected to bring in millions of new subscribers to Xbox. However, industry analysts are divided over the potential impact this may have on the game's standalone sales, especially given the shift from traditional purchases to a subscription-based access model. The strategy could lead to lost sales of the game itself, but may ultimately strengthen Xbox's subscriber base if the company can retain the wave of new players long term. I think that's the key, isn't it? It's if they can retain the subscribers long term, which I don't think they will, but we'll come on to that later. One of the leading voices in the gaming industry, analyst Michael Pachter, suggests that launching Black Ops 6 on Game Pass may lead to a drop in direct sales, estimating up to 6 million fewer copies sold. His estimates assumes that around 25% of Game Pass subscribers who would have otherwise purchased the game outright will now access it through the subscription model. Pacta projects that this move could bring in between 3 to 4 million new Game Pass subscribers, which he believes would ultimately benefit Microsoft and gamers alike. He goes on to say that the headline may focus on declining Call of Duty sales, but it's actually a strong outcome for Microsoft's overall strategy and for the consumers. Another take on this comes from Piers Harding-Rolls, chief games analyst at Ampere Analytics, who predicts that Black Ops 6 on Game Pass will boost subscriber numbers by approximately 10%, translating to about an increase of 2.5 million subscribers to the Game Pass Ultimate tier. However, he points out that a significant portion of this increase could come from existing subscribers upgrading from Game Pass Core and Standard tiers, as the Call of Duty title will only be accessible via the Ultimate subscription. He anticipates that the lost premium game sales may be offset by other forms of in-game monetization, an area Call of Duty has leveraged effectively with in-game purchases and live service content. Microsoft's strategic decision to discontinue its popular 14-day $1 trial for Game Pass reflects its focus on maximizing subscription revenue, particularly as it prepares to introduce one of gaming's top franchises to its service. Bringing Call of Duty to Game Pass isn't cheap for Microsoft, Harding-Rolls goes on to explain, but the franchise has increasingly shifted towards a live service model with monetization strategies enabled within the game. By forging some direct game sales, Microsoft is likely banking on a bigger audience than can generate revenue over time through the in-game transactions. The addition of Black Ops 6 to Game Pass also sparks questions around potential changes to the game's monetization model. With more subscribers playing through Game Pass, developers may increase focus on in-game purchases, downloadable content, and limited time events. Harding-Rolls also sees potential for growth in Xbox and PC audiences, where cloud support offers additional reach, though mobile remains dominated by Call of Duty Mobile and Warzone. Brett Hunt, market analyst of Newzoo, believes that Black Ops 6 will attract significant interest, surpassing the engagement seen with last year's Modern Warfare 3. This enthusiasm, he argues, is tied not only to the Game Pass launch, but also to the appeal of Black Ops 6 franchise itself, which features a unique campaign storyline, a revamped movement system, and the return of the classic zombies gameplay. According to Newzoo data, Modern Warfare 2 drew around 21.7 million monthly active players in the US, while Modern Warfare 3 only saw 12 million. Hunt predicts that Black Ops 6 could approach Modern Warfare 2's popularity of around 20 million users, particularly given the excitement surrounding the franchise's new features. The release of Black Ops 6 on Game Pass may also impact the PlayStation audience. For years, Sony held exclusive content rights of Call of Duty. That agreement expired, potentially shifting the balance over to Xbox. With Game Pass unavailable on PlayStation, some players might be tempted to play on Xbox for premium Call of Duty content. Harding-Rolls suggests, however, the impact might not be lasting. Cross-platform play and multi-platform accounts lessen the impact of exclusivity, especially with games like Call of Duty. Players with both consoles may simply play the campaign on Xbox while continuing to enjoy Warzone on PlayStation. Industry experts agree that the success of Microsoft's Game Pass strategy will heavily rely on its ability to retain new subscribers beyond the initial Black Ops 6 launch. This challenge, however, comes with significant stakes, as Dr. Serkan Toto of Katen Games explains. Microsoft's gaming unit has been under pressure to deliver growth. The Activision Blizzard acquisition was in part to support Game Pass's success, and if Call of Duty doesn't meet those expectations, that could raise serious questions about the sustainability of the model. Toto speculates that subscriber retention could dip early as next year following the initial wave of hype if Xbox fails to engage players beyond the launch period. Michael Pachter, however, is optimistic about Call of Duty's long-term potential on Game Pass. He emphasizes the franchise's strong community supported by a steady influx of new multiplayer maps and content updates, which keeps players engaged for months, if not the entire year. Call of Duty players often stick around longer due to multiplayer updates, he explains. The average engagement is about 6 months, but many play all year round. For those players, Game Pass is an appealing option and they'll likely stay subscribed. What do you think of this, guys? What do you make of this? How many players are going to subscribe for Game Pass Ultimate for a month or two and then cancel their subscription once they've played the game? I mean, some of what Pachter says doesn't make sense. If people play Call of Duty all year round, why would they say subscribe to Game Pass? Isn't the game like $70? Game Pass Ultimate in the UK is $14.99 a month. It's around $180 a year just to subscribe to the service and play a game which you can buy for $70. So if people plan on playing Call of Duty all year round, why not just buy the game, play it all year round? It would only cost you £70. That's not right, because you don't have access to internet. So to access the internet on both PlayStation and Xbox, you've got to pay around £80 a year. I think that's the cheapest on both. So if you think about it, if someone buys a game for $70 and then subscribes to the lowest tier, they're still going to cost you close to £150 a year. And it might actually make sense for you to subscribe to Game Pass to play Call of Duty all year round, with the hope that something else drops into Game Pass, which you can enjoy and play without having to pay anything extra. You see, from that perspective, I can see it making sense. Another question I would ask is how many of the gamers who would have already purchased Call of Duty are already subscribed to Game Pass? Therefore, those lost sales would only cancel out any new subscribers. Although some people may play Call of Duty all year round, many don't. Millions don't play Call of Duty all year round. Many jump in for the single player campaign, which I believe is only 6 to 7 hours long, and then you're done. Then what? You jump back out? So you've only subscribed for a month? Or some people will stick around and play for a month or two on the multiplayer, and then they're done. It's 2 months worth. That's not even covering the cost of the game. I don't think we're going to see the impact of Call of Duty going into Game Pass for a few months. That's my honest opinion. Short term, there's going to be two narratives that you're going to see on the internet. Xbox gamers are going to be running around with the narrative, oh look, Game Pass has a few extra million subscribers, Game Pass is great, best deal in gaming and all of that. While PlayStation gamers are going to be running around with the narrative that Call of Duty sales have declined, the Game Pass effect is kicking in, this is why devs don't want to make games for Xbox and all that kind of stuff. The reality is that we're going to need to let the dust settle, and we're going to have to see what the numbers look like from the initial release of Call of Duty into Game Pass and then the following subsequent months afterwards. That's going to be the test, isn't it? Where are we with subscriber numbers when COD went into Game Pass? And what does it look like 6 months down the line, 8 months, 12 months? That's the test. What do you think is going to happen? Are you playing Call of Duty? Where are you playing it? PlayStation, Xbox, or Game Pass? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about the topics we've discussed in the video today. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you on the next video.